Hello and welcome back to Chef Carter's Cooking Corner. So today we're going to be making a cake that my mom requested. It's a chocolate cake with chocolate frosting. And the interesting thing about this cake is it requires no eggs and it has vinegar in it. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started with that. So you want a medium to large bowl. And in that bowl, we're going to add 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/4 cup of cocoa, 1 cup of sugar, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Right. Now, we're going to take and we're going to mix these up. I just used a spoon, and you just want to mix it up until all the dry ingredients are well incorporated, as you see here. Alright, once that's done, you put it to the side, and then we're going to do our liquid ingredients. So I have 1 cup of room temperature water, 6 tablespoons of vegetable oil, and 1 tablespoon of white vinegar, or you could use lemon juice. So kind of mix those together, and then we're going to combine the liquid to the dry ingredients. Alright, you could use a mixer here or a spoon because you just want to get it just mix it until everything's incorporated, but you don't want to over mix your cake mix, or else you're going to form gluten, which is going to change the flavor and the texture. Right, so you see I did not take very long at all to get that mixed up. You want to make sure like all the large lumps are gone. There we go. Alright, once we make sure there aren't too many lumps, you want to go ahead and take a rubber spatula and clean that spoon off, and then we're going to use that spatula to put our cake mix into our prepared pan that has been greased and floured. Alright, so you want to clean that off pretty good. Make sure you don't eat cake batter, even though there's no eggs in it. Flour can give you salmonella poisoning, so you want to avoid eating raw cake batter. Alright, so I'm scraping that out really good. You don't want to waste any of your cake batter, so make sure it all goes into your pan. Just like that. See? Scraped it out as good as I could. Alright, so that'll go in the oven at 350 degrees. And I picked it up about 1/2 inch and dropped it to knock any air bubbles out. Now in this, we're putting powdered sugar, 1 cup of powdered sugar, a tablespoon of unsweetened cocoa, and then in there we're going to add 2 tablespoons of butter. And I think this probably would have worked better had I used a fork instead of that whisk, but I made it work afterwards. So then you're going to have a little milk on the side, and then you're just going to pour a few drops of milk into this mixture until it forms the frosting you want. So the consistency you want in your frosting. So kind of mixed it up and then poured a little bit of milk and then mixed it a little bit to see what my consistency was. So you want to be careful with your milk. As you can see, I just poured a little bit at a time until I got about the consistency I want. So I will be adding a little drizzle of vanilla. I guess you could say it was about a teaspoon of vanilla that I'll add to this in just a minute. Mixing. Now see, that's the problem I was having. The butter was sticking in the middle of that. If I had used a fork, I wouldn't have had that issue. But I made it work. Okay. So it formed a nice smooth frosting. You see that? Alright, so there goes my vanilla, my little drizzle. There we go. Mix that in, and then we'll be ready to frost the cake. Alright, so there we are, frosting the cake. Alright, and you do want your cake to cool completely before you frost it, or it will just absorb your frosting. Alright, now it's time to cut your cake. Now, Mom said that this cake actually tastes better a couple days after it bakes. I guess it's because of the vinegar that's in there, but the vinegar, it reacts to the baking soda. So there I am. I'm trying to show you how squishy it is, but it's stuck to the frosting. Me teasing you a little bit. So there you have it, a chocolate cake made from scratch without eggs. Thank you for stopping by Chef Carter's Cooking Corner. I'll see you next time. And while you're here, why not check out some of my playlist? Take care.